Awesome. We're here at Good Studios, and we're going to have Jeff Ecklund try out a couple Little Sister, B&G Little Sister guitars. And he's a pro. We're going to ask him some questions, and we're going to he's going to ask us some questions about the guitars.
Pro is a really strong word. It's a really strong word.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, he's a pretty good guitar player.
Guitar player's probably right.
All right. Then do what you do. So this is absolutely 100% unrehearsed. You'll figure that out. But what's your impression as a guitarist? What's your impression when you play that? How many guitars do you own? What kind of guitars do you own?
I own probably more guitars than I want to fess up to. Just to be honest with you, especially with my wife sitting here. Actually, just sold a guitar so we could do a kitchen remodel for her. So I'm void right now. I'm feeling like there's a missing link, Yeah, right. So, it's nice. It's got a nice feel on the neck, frets. I love the tone. I'm excited to play the P90s because I've heard some of the stuff with the P90s on it, and it just sounds great. But the humbuckers are amazing. You
want to trade? Here's one with P90s.
We could try it. Okay. Let's try it. Let's just see what happens. I can always give it back, right? I can always do something else. But I love the fit and finish of it, and it reminds me a little bit of playing an acoustic guitar that is set up to play. I mean, it's got that kind of nice neck,
know if I should have done that to you.
That was really unfair.
Yeah, especially hand it to you out of tune like that. But did you notice any big difference other than the P90s?
No.
That's a Crossroads series. So these are all private builds.
Wow.
And this is the new Crossroads series that B&G came out with. And so
plays just, I wouldn't have known the difference, except for the P90s.
Wow.
Yeah, very great feel.
What did it was the discovery of the pickup?
Yeah, just the pickups. I mean, there's definitely a huge difference in pickups. I almost felt like I needed to stop and reset the amp for the pickups because that's how different. It's like a single coil versus a humbucker. But these were huge for what I expected. I thought they'd be a lot thinner and brighter, and they're definitely really nice and big and fat and warm, which, is kind of nice. Probably lends itself to, a lot.
Do you want to reset your amp to play? Why don't you tell me what kind of an amp you're playing through?
This is a Jackson McFly, and it's kind of a crossover amp for 6L6 and 6V6 tubes, so you kind of get a Fender Hot Rod and a Deluxe Reverb, or you can combine them. You go down to almost 0 watts, or you can go up to 70 if you combine the two. I mean, it's just a huge, and for a small little footprint, I mean, this thing is not... Got a lot of low end in it. Anyway, it's a really nice little amp made out of Texas. Difference between the Crossroads, because to me this guitar is got a lot more low end.
Would you like to try another custom build? And if you,
what do you have?
Which would you like to try?
Well, give me an option. I like this one too. A good guitar. It's a nice guitar.
So, any questions? Do you have any questions about the guitar?
No, actually, I think you let me play one of yours when they first came out. In fact, I think we shot a little bit of a demo on it. I love that vintage vibe to it. It's got the slotted head, but it plays really well. I think, for example, that acoustic players that are really used to acoustics would have an easy, like maybe they have a harder time transitioning over to, say, a Strat, or tellies are actually, for a lot of acoustic players, are easier. This feels like it would be a really nice transition for an acoustic player to a nice electric at the same time, to where you're not picking up one guitar and feeling like the next totally different. This feels, it's just got a really nice flat neck, wide, which I like, because I think that what I do is I pick, but I also finger pick, and I think the spacing, you want a little bit more. I like a guitar that's a little wider, just for that. So really, it's kind of a perfect blend to me, and the thing just looks like $1 million. It's a beautiful guitar. So, woods. What is this particular guitar made of?
Honduras mahogany.
Okay, back.
Yeah, and then
body.
I believe that has the Brazilian rosewood fretboard.
Okay.
Mark and I, when we order guitars, we usually order them with all of the upgraded woods. You can go with African mahogany, but we ordered Honduras mahogany for that. And then that's a custom top, and that's one of the things with B&Gs. You get to choose your top. You get to choose your top, your finish, whether you have humbuckers or P90s.
And so what is the top again?
It's maple top, but when I say you get to choose it, they have like 50 pieces of wood, and you get to put your name on the one that you want.
And this is probably maple binding here?
That is not binding. That's actually the top.
Oh, is that the top?
It's scraped down by hand, sanded.
Oh, that's nice.
To look like binding, but you
I
don't
can see
have
it
the
now.
problems associated with binding.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it. I can actually, when I look closer, I can see how the grain just goes right into the binding. That's super good.
That blew my mind when I saw, because I didn't see any videos of them doing the binding. And I wrote Avi a note. I said, "Hey, Avi, I haven't seen any videos." And he said, "It's not binding." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And so then a video popped up of one of the guys hand sanding that down.
Wow. That is really cool. I've actually not even ever seen usually you're used to the maple binding, koa binding, ebony binding. That's really nice.
Yeah, you'll see some high dollar guitars where there are a few guys that do that, but that was the first time that I've seen it.
Has a lot of sustain.
The sustain is crazy.
These are good guitars. You really should sell them. Have you ever thought about doing that? I know you're a big fan.
I've thought about it, but I do have a few that my wife would appreciate me selling. I'm having a hard time letting go of them.
I can tell. What I'm seeing too is a lot of guys, like you say, there's a lot of players that play directly into the amp, get everything out of their amp. A lot of the music that I do, it tends to need to be pretty versatile, where you've got to have something clean and then you've got to be able to go to something dry. So I am typically looking for a guitar that not only will be really nice clean, but when I kick, so you're not trying to pick up another amp or and I typically don't really like channel switching amps very well. We'll have one clean channel and one drive channel, because in some ways that's kind of I just like a pedal board better, where I can get two or three. I can go from say this would be a clean, and then Maybe you kick on one more level, which is just more of a boost. Just fattens it up. Or add to that. And the guitar actually does that really well.
Wow.
Some guitars, it does. They don't seem like for example, I have a harder time with that with a Strat. I love a Strat. I love the single coils. But when you get into kind of something that's a little, you want a little bit more muscle in it, then I find that I have to be more careful about pickups and stuff. And I like the thought of single coil pickups, so I'm glad they're offering these in a P90. But these humbuckers sound great. They really do. If you look at, for example, contemporary Christian music and especially the worship genre, you'll find that guys are, I think Christian musicians right now are probably funding, the whole pedal industry. They buy more guitars, they buy more amps. They're, and a lot of it is that you have to go from, this style to this style within one set. And so you'll find that most of them don't do, I'm just plugging into my amp and doing it. They're playing through a pedal board, they're playing through a Line 6 Helix, they're playing through a Kemper, they're playing through modeling stuff. And so I'm typically, doing the same thing. In fact, on a Sunday morning, I may be playing an acoustic, and I have my board set up so I can just basically, redirect it to the PA. And I have my acoustic, and this is my acoustic and my electric setup in one, and it can be that versatile when you're playing. And what makes it nice is if you have an electric guitar that actually has a lot of acoustic qualities, to where there's stuff that you don't have to really switch over and grab an acoustic. It's got enough. This has a lot. Got some nice. It might be one of those things where you have kind of a song where I could either go acoustic or I could go electric, and you know what, this has got enough kind of ambient, acoustic stuff that I'm going to make this work. This is going to go great. There's some electrics you just can't do that with.
Yeah, that's what I find myself doing. Mm-hmm. Lead worship is, for the most part, I've always been an acoustic guy, and with the little sister, I find myself just playing that,
not having to go to it,
not having to go to the acoustic, and enjoying the tone and everything else that comes with this. Well, Jeff, I think that we've got a lot of great stuff to share with folks out there, and I want to thank you for coming along and showing off what it can sound like.
You'll edit all the missed notes.
We will.
Promise.
Yeah.
Promise. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't hold it. Don't hold me for ransom.
Do you want to take one home with you? Thinking about it.
That'd be the hard one for you to let go, wouldn't it?
I think it's a wrap for this one. We'll see what else happens.
Oh yeah, look at that black one.